Calvin Russell's agent provided an update regarding his client's recruitment. Is it good news or bad news for Syracuse? Let's go over it.
You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome in a Locked On Syracuse. I'm Jackson Holzer. Thank you for making us your first listen of every single day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Now, the number one sports podcasting network. And on today's show, we are joined by Neil Adler from Inside the Loud House. We are going to go over Syracuse basketball's victory over Tennessee on Tuesday night because, ladies and gentlemen, we need some positivity. We need some good news because we're going to start this show talking about Syracuse football, recruiting drama. In case you missed it, earlier today, five-star wide receiver Calvin Russell at his signing day ceremony for Miami Northwestern grabbed the microphone and announced to the world he will not be signing with anyone on Wednesday, December 3rd. And so we're going to dive into it and all that and more coming up here on Locked On Syracuse. Before we get to everything, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your live bets all season long. Neil, thank you so much for taking the time to join me this evening here on Locked On Syracuse. Before I turn it over to you, though, I'm going to put a quote on the screen right now. This is from Calvin Russell's agent over on Twitter earlier today, and here's what he had to say. Calvin Russell has decided to push back signing this morning as he needed more time to pray on the final decision. He absolutely loves Fran Brown and is committed to Syracuse football, but he just wants to make sure he is 100% certain with his decision before signing by end of day on Friday. Once more second, Neil, here, because Fran Brown, the head coach of Syracuse, he also provided some thoughts without mentioning names specific, because he's not allowed to mention names specific until there's pen to paper. But Fran Brown said today, quote, "That's just the nature of the business. It's where we are at right now. Final hours, a lot of things happen, different pieces of it, but I have complete confidence." And then he also went on to say that Syracuse can sign players up until the 5th. Neil, based on those two quotes that I just read to you, one from Fran Brown and one from Calvin Russell's agent, what's your confidence level with Calvin Russell ultimately signing with Syracuse?
Well, first of all, Jackson, thanks so much for having me on your fabulous podcast again this week. Although I got to say, brother, if you got the number one podcast out there, you probably don't want to keep having me on. Otherwise, your ratings are going to just like go down. Now, that's awesome, by the way.
Podcasting network, I should say.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Your podcast is awesome.
Locked On Syracuse is not number one.
But yours is dope too. Too. All right. Now that we got the silly stuff out of the way, I have no freaking idea. I kind of had like in the back of my head that maybe there would be some quote unquote drama during the signing period, which is, like you said, from the 3rd to the 5th. You know, Calvin has said over and over and over again for months that he is locked in with Syracuse, that he's locked in with Fran Brown, that he chose Syracuse, verbally committed in early July on his birthday over Oregon, Florida State, and Michigan, with Miami kind of off to the side, but that he did that primarily because of his relationship and his family's relationship with Fran Brown. And Fran Brown is still the head coach of Syracuse. So I'm not confident, but I'm still hopeful that he's going to sign with Syracuse. But this was obviously not a good look. I mean, how can you grab and look, if he doesn't commit to Syracuse and flips, he is going to get trashed on social media. And the only thing I'll say there is, look, he's like a 17 or 18-year-old kid. He's doing what's best for himself. All kinds of people, all kinds of kids at the high school and college level, you know, in the portal, flip around, do like whatever. Don't trash the kid. It just makes our school look bad. It makes us look petty because we flipped other guys. Isn't his Miami Northwestern teammate, Tadarius Hughes, flipped from Florida State last month to Syracuse and signed on Wednesday. So, but yes, it would totally sting and suck if he doesn't come because, like you said, he's their highest rated, verbal commit in 20 plus years. And I still feel like he's going to commit to Syracuse, but it just like the agent is just, that's a PR thing, but like, what aren't you sure about that? Like, if you were sure like 2 weeks ago that you were locked in and you took an official visit the weekend that Syracuse played North Carolina on Halloween, he went on unofficials, like, and granted, he visited all these other schools too. Like, what's changed? And I will let you know very candidly if I have inside information, and I don't, about him. I will say that I did text with a source earlier today that, and I'm not going to say he said, I'm going to say they said, because I don't want to give it. They said that Syracuse still feels confident, but that doesn't mean that Syracuse is going to win out. And like you were saying, and you tweeted about or X'd about or whatever you call it today. The 24/7 sports analyst that covers Miami, who's super plugged in, said that Miami's not involved, but then other people are saying Miami's involved and Michigan involved and Florida reached out and Florida State and LSU. So it's all over the place, dude. I have no clue. Like,
nobody knows.
Yeah. And like, how we've talked about in the past, and I've written about for Inside the Loud House, like, in certain recruitments, I'll say, well, I think Syracuse has a shot, but I'll take the field because I just feel like I'll take the field. I'm still taking Syracuse over the field for Calvin. But that doesn't, and I don't have any inside information. And it was a really crappy thing to happen today because, again, I'm not trashing Calvin Russell, but it leaves a bad taste in your mouth if you're a Syracuse football fan. And Fran Brown, like you said, he can't, name these guys until they put pen to paper, but he's confident in himself. I'm sure he's working the phones. I feel like I saw him quoted somewhere, or maybe it was at his presser today where he was up till 1:30 in the morning. This is a fluid thing. It really is. And just going with my gut instinct, the way he's talked about his relationship with Fran Brown for months, even amid all these analysts talking about being a flip target, primarily to Miami because he goes to all these game day visits. But let's remember he's from Miami and Malachi Tony plays for Miami and they're good friends, blah, 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 blah. I still feel like when all is said and done, he's going to commit to Syracuse. If he doesn't,
oh boy,
like Twitter or X is going to explode. All the chat forums are going to explode. Life as we know it is over. And I will still wish the kid well. I won't crap on him. Like, whatever, go do what you got to do. For me, Jackson, if he does end up flipping somewhere else, why?
Yeah,
that's and I want it to be transparent, and I don't want there to be fluff or PR spin. Mm-hmm. I want it to be like, be real about it. If it was for money, say it. Or if the relationship with Fran Brown soured, which I don't believe it did, say it. Or if you don't believe in the direction of Syracuse football, say it. Or if you just feel like you have a better shot at playing time initially and winning and all that at whatever the school is, just say it. I just want the real info. I don't know. What do you think?
NFL Sundays move fast, and one big play, suddenly everything can feel different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. And with FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, and every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. I listed earlier today possible reasons why this is happening.
Yeah.
The one reason that I am going to mark off based on what we have now learned is that I don't think the relationship between Fran Brown and Calvin Russell has soured. I think it is still there.
Yeah.
So given all the other possible reasons, again, we don't know what the reasons are, but these are the possible ones.
Yeah.
Wanting to be closer to home.
Sure.
Wanting to play for a bigger program.
Yep.
Syracuse's terrible year and unstable quarterback situation.
Right.
But it all points back to this, which is money. I think money might be the factor here.
What
else am I supposed to conclude? What has changed between now and over the past 5 months? Did some program or programs come in and say, we're going to offer you more money? And he's like, hold on a minute, I have to consider this.
Right.
Are the offers no longer in the ballpark? Because we don't know for sure what the offers were originally. But it is fair to assume that Syracuse, when they initially got him and over the course of these few months, they were in the ballpark financially. Did they have the highest offer? Were they second? Were they third? Whatever the case may be, I don't care how great your relationship is with someone. I've had Brian Smith on here a number of times. He's a football recruiting guru, and he'll tell you how important relationships are. But at the end of the day, they matter, but you have to be in the ballpark financially.
You got to be in the vicinity.
You have no shot.
Yeah, I agree.
So, does Syracuse at this point just have to say, you know what, we got to find some more dollars between now and Friday, or else he's going elsewhere? I don't know, and I don't think anyone knows.
Yeah.
And to your point, if he decides to go elsewhere, I will not be mad at Calvin Russell. I'll actually be a lot more mad at Syracuse and Fran Brown. I won't be mad at Calvin Russell for ultimately making a decision that is best for himself. But I think it is fair to want transparency. Why did this happen? And again, to your point, it's why? No PR stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, I went to this school because and they're probably not going to ever say this, but they offered me, infinitely more money.
Yeah.
I had a great relationship with this person at this school. And then, they just came in at the last second and gave me an offer I can't refuse. And I would be like, you know what? Good for you. Hey, Syracuse, what the bleep? I think I'll say what the bleep no matter what with Syracuse if they don't get him.
Right.
Earlier today, my panic meter was at a 9. At this point, because it's not a relationship thing, I'll say an 8.
Right.
I am very worried about this. He went up today and was like, I am not signing. I need to think more about this. Does that sound like someone who's like, oh yeah, I'm totally good. Like I'm chilling. Like, no.
Oh no, it definitely doesn't.
At all.
Yeah, no. Because it's not he's had time to think about this for a long time. Again, unless, like you said, stuff we don't know about just came up in the last few days, because maybe not all. I don't know if Florida was really heavily involved, but like Michigan, Miami, even LSU back in the day, like they were all heavily involved with him at one point or might still be, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like this stuff just came out of nowhere. Now, granted, obviously at Florida and LSU, in particular, they have new head coaches and all that.
The LSU one's even more weird.
Yeah.
Because Lane Kiffin, when he was at Ole Miss, I don't think he was really pursuing Calvin Russell. I don't remember Ole Miss really coming up in Calvin Russell.
I honestly would. I mean, I could check. I could go on the recruiting websites to see if he even had an official offer. But yeah,
probably did.
They weren't. They weren't one of the schools, heavily in the mix. And the other thing is you got to think about is with the money stuff is, starting this year, it's revenue share. It's schools directly paying players, but then you still have, obviously, to some extent, and it varies from school to school, you have third-party NIL. And, I think Syracuse has been solid in the football, arena in terms of third-party NIL with that SU football NIL organization. But like in terms of other sports, like with Orange United gone, like things are kind of in flux. But so it's entirely possible other schools have swooped in with just massively larger offers. And the other thing with that, Jackson, is, and I'm sure you would definitely chime in on this, at what point, if it is money, at what point would Fran Brown be like, you know what, we're going to pass? Not because, look, Calvin Russell was rated in the top 25 overall by 24/7 Sports, and he's in like the top 60, 70 and a lot of other places. He's really good. But in the era of the portal and like looking at the team this season, like is the money after it reaches a certain point for Calvin Russell, is it better spent on another quarterback in the portal or offensive and defensive linemen? I mean, again, I'm not like in any way trashing Calvin Russell's worth or his talent, But those are things to think about. I mean, they just signed a 4-star wide receiver out of Richmond, Amari Goff, today. They've got good receiver. I mean, Darryl Gill's coming back. I don't know about Jonte Cook, but, they've got other guys coming back. So I'm not saying Calvin Russell is in any way expendable, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it gets to the point it's a different situation, but it starts to bring up to me Trevor Pena going to Penn State. I'm not saying it's apples to oranges, not oranges to oranges, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, at what point, if it is about money and Fran is on the phones and there's offers and counter offers, and if whether it's XYZ program beyond Syracuse, up here, and where does Syracuse come if they even have that budget? Like, is there a point where Fran is like, sorry, we're gonna, we're good? I don't know.
I don't know if he would ever say sorry, we're good. I think it would just.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think
it's more like
you got to think about the whole roster and the whole budget.
We just can't do it anymore.
Right.
It's gotten to a point where it's too much.
Yeah.
I think, look, it's not about downplaying Calvin Russell, but you are right. And this is not cope. Okay. This is not like copium that we are taking here. Okay. But yeah, there is a point, and it's with any player in the nation here, especially in football. And you're not talking about a quarterback.
And you're not talking about
any other position other than quarterback. Quarterback is a different animal. You need a quarterback, as we learned this season.
Yeah.
You don't have unlimited amount of money, and you do need to build a roster. So if there is a point where other schools are just way overspending, if they're just blowing away Syracuse financially, and Syracuse, maybe they can step up and do it, but it would cripple the rest of your team.
Right.
Then you can't. But at the same time, I don't think anyone really wants to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Neil, I don't think you want to hear that. No. I think we want to hear is
I want to write about a 5-star wide receiver.
How about get the money to pay Calvin Russell and still have the same amount to go spend on the rest of your team?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's just the world that we live in right now. But
yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like, we can sit here and complain about the system all we want, but the system is the system. We have to find
everyone has to deal with it. Yeah, totally, man. Totally. Look, it'll be a fascinating day and a half. And I did, by the way, when you were making your points, I did look on the 24/7 Sports website, and it did look like he had an offer from Ole Miss. But again, I don't know how heavily. I feel like when he had like a top 10 or I don't remember Ole Miss being up there high, but whatever.
Well, Calvin Russell, I'm going to pull it up right now.
He had like 50 offers.
He had an offer from, Syracuse, Michigan, Florida State, Miami, Oregon, LSU, Florida, Bama, Appalachian State, Arizona, Arkansas.
I think the first ones listed was Colorado. Like his initial.
Just keep going. Georgia offered, Indiana offered, Louisville offered, Notre Dame offered, Oklahoma, Penn State. He's Tennessee. He's a 5-star player. Everyone in the country offered him. You know what? The one school that didn't offer him, at least on 24/7 Sports, and I find it very interesting. Ohio State.
Ohio State
did not offer him per 24/7 Sports. Now, that doesn't mean that Calvin Russell is bad, but you know that Ohio State is wide receiver U. I find it curious that they didn't offer him, but I guess they were so zoned in on Chris Henry, which is a whole nother conversation because they might not even sign Chris Henry. Apparently, Oregon is very much involved. Oh, by the way, speaking of Oregon, side note. Messiah Hampton, yeah, he did sign with Oregon. So that tease that he put on Twitter earlier today.
Yeah, what was
nothing to do with him flipping.
Yeah, no.
So we have no backup plan.
Yeah.
If we don't get Calvin Russell, there's no flipping Messiah Hampton to make us feel better. Like, it's just, if you don't get Calvin Russell, this is the recruiting class, which is, I feel bad because it's not a bad class.
No.
And for the most part, it was a good day. But this is just like your best recruit, and it's not even close.
It's the headliner. I get all that.
I don't know what to do anymore. I need more time to think.
Yeah, if he flips, it will take the wind out of the sails. But yeah, no, they have multiple other 4-stars. Alex Haskell, the guy that flipped from Penn State, Cam Wilson, Jarius Rogers, Javion Cooper, Amari Goff. Like, They and Tadarius too. Like it's a good class. This would suck, man. This would suck.
It's just like
I was
prepared to lose Javion Cooper. I was prepared to lose Cameron Wilson. It's like,
yeah, they were all flip targets too, and they all signed super early. I was getting all the alerts from Syracuse football about guys signing, and I was like, oh, cool, all these 4 stars that went out, looked at other schools. Oh, they all signed, and then, bleh.
well, Neil. I can't waste my breath anymore on Calvin Russell right now.
That's cool.
We get another update. So how about coming up, we cheer up the audience?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
We talk about a team that actually is worthy of some praise right now. That's right. Syracuse basketball beating Tennessee last night. We'll talk about that next here on Locked On Syracuse. Locked On Syracuse, I'm Jackson Holzer. That's Neil Adler from Inside the Loud House. As we promised before the break here, we are going to talk some Syracuse basketball, some positivity, because Syracuse basketball on Tuesday night, thank goodness, they got a huge victory over Tennessee, so much so that they rose nearly 20 spots in the net rankings after the victory. Neil, first impressions from this win.
Yeah, I mean, I had a piece on Inside the Loud House this morning saying I think it was the most important win in the Adrian Autry era. He's in his 3rd year now, and I think it's his 2nd win over a ranked team. They beat number 7 North Carolina in February of 2024. Yeah. And that was a great win over a top 10 team at home, and North Carolina had blown them out the month before. But I don't know, this one just, to me, for many reasons, just like, Donnie Freeman, you come off 3 gut-wrenching losses in Vegas, and the 3rd one, you get deflated because of the second half was just awful. And so, and you don't know when Donnie's going to be back. And as we've talked about, Tennessee was like their final last shot at a quadrant 1 win in the non-conference. Adrian Autry's got pressure on them. They haven't made the tournament. There's all these factors. And it wasn't pretty, but they won. And I'll tell you, oh, dude, that last play, man, where it was like the Grant Hill to
post-game show
about the Grant Hill to Christian Leitner, and the guy that caught it, I'm totally blanking on who caught it. Who shot it?
Who caught it?
Yeah, it was Nate, who's from Virginia, or went to high school in Virginia. He was, because the defender didn't want to foul him, so kind of backed off. He had a wide open, not a wide, but but he didn't have a lot of time to react, so he just threw up and it didn't even hit the rim. But I was like, oh God, that's gonna go in. Oh God, that's gonna go in.
We would have been ripping Adrian Autry a new one if that shot goes in. I'm telling you, if that shot goes in and Syracuse loses in overtime,
you knew they would lose in overtime. Too.
Yeah, I would have been. I can't even begin. That's the fine line of sports sometimes. It's just, if that shot goes in, we're ripping Adrian Autry. What were you thinking? What were you designing on that final play? How is this possible? Sadiq White, when he missed that free throw, he didn't miss it intentionally. You're in that scenario. If you're going to miss the free throw, miss it on purpose.
So it hits off the rim weird.
It hits off the rim, and there's a mad scramble, and there's a little bit
because the guy just caught it and called a timeout right away.
Yeah. Instead, he just missed.
I don't think he missed intentional. I think he was, because I feel like the smarter play is you make both. So at the worst, if they have a desperation heave and it goes in, you're going overtime versus, if he makes one and you could lose. But look, they shot terrible from the free throw line again, which is just a problem. They hung in on the boards. They played good defense. They both teams committed a ton of turnovers, but Syracuse led, if I'm not mistaken, 24-10 in points off turnovers, 9-0 in fast break points. They did get, kind of crushed in the paint a little bit in terms of paint points, but they did the things necessary to win. They built up that 9-point lead, coughed it right back up. JJ hit that 3 and then a mid-range jumper, so they went from down 1 to up 4. And then, they did Syracuse things again to nearly blow it, but they won. They won the game. And my biggest question to you is, since we both went to Syracuse, although I went there 8 million years ago, and you're young and virile, but should Syracuse fans have stormed the court?
Oh, okay. We're ending on that. I don't care.
I don't care either.
I don't care. I don't care.
Because some people in chat forums are like, "Oh, we're Syracuse. Like, I know we've been down, but like, we should be held to a higher standard and not be like."
We stormed the court. They
Yeah.
stormed the court after the win against North Carolina. Too.
Yeah,
like this. Look, first of all, what fans decide to do, as long as it's like inbounds, I really don't comment on fan behavior. I learned that along. That was one of my first episodes on Locked On Syracuse. I did, and I just learned after that, don't do it again. So I don't really comment on that stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as this scenario is concerned with the court storming, look, I mean, they haven't been good in a long time.
Right.
They haven't. And that's just a reality. And a lot of these Syracuse fans, especially if they are a junior or a senior,
they haven't seen
Syracuse in the tournament.
Right.
This is their first big win for a lot of people that they are seeing, maybe other than that North Carolina game. So look, if they're excited and they want to storm the court, like who am I to sit here and be like, oh, almighty, mighty, this is Syracuse. We haven't been almighty, mighty Syracuse in like 15, 20 years. So you know what? Who cares? Let them storm the court, whatever.
Right.
You know what? Hopefully Syracuse one day gets to a point where we're not storming the court for beating a top 15 team.
Sure.
Because you know, we're really good and we're expected to beat top 15 teams, especially on their home floor. My takeaway from this is two things. Number one, enormous victory.
Yeah.
Like huge. We're going to look back hopefully on this season and we're just going to put this game in our back pocket. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put it in our back pocket. We're going to like go through the whole year. And then hopefully Syracuse is in position where they're looking for a tournament bid, you know, come late February and early March. And we're going to sit here and say, hey, see, this is our win against Tennessee. This is our signature non-conference win. We beat them on our home floor. Quad one win right there. Put it in the back pocket. Okay. Number two takeaway, though, this team still has a lot of work to do.
Oh,
and I know that we don't want to admit that because we just had a huge win, and nobody wants to hear Jackson Holzer or Neil Adler say that Syracuse has a lot of work to do. Let's celebrate the win. We're a day out now. Okay, celebration, cool, great, good win. We're all happy. But there's 73 right now in the net last time I checked, and there's 63 right now in Ken Palm.
Right.
We're not there yet.
Totally, man.
We're not there. You look at ESPN bracketology. We're not on the ESPN bracketology. So Syracuse, they still have work to do, but this was an excellent start.
It was like a springboard,
it was a step.
Yeah, it was a
step
good
in the right direction.
It was a baby step.
And unlike that North Carolina game, which happened in February of 2024, this is early December. So there's plenty of time to build on this. When that North Carolina game happened, it was great and we were all excited. But if I remember correctly, they had 5 more regular season games left, and only one of them was really a resume-boosting chance, which was the end-of-season game at Clemson, which Syracuse promptly got blown out in. But you get the point. They had no other opportunities.
Yeah.
Now they have a ton of opportunities. You got your win, great. You're going to play Duke. You're going to play Duke on the road. You're going to play Louisville on the road. You're going to play North Carolina a couple of times. Your first ACC game is Clemson at home. That's going to be a big one. The ACC in general has been much better this year than it was last year, at least from the first day of the ACC
6-3 on the first day.
Hey, like this is good.
Carolina beat Kentucky, Duke beat Florida. Like what? You know, the ACC.
Good. We beat Tennessee. We did our part. It's like good. The conference winning out of conference games is good because it raises the legitimacy of the ACC.
It's good for
unlike
Syracuse.
In football, which football can't do. In basketball, they're legitimate this year. And now it's like, okay, we can have a realistic record and maybe make the NCAA tournament, whereas last year you needed like 25 wins unless you were North Carolina.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. And look, it allows them, unless they have a bad hiccup, to be 10-3 in the non-conference, which isn't like amazing. Gosh, dude, Jackson, if they could have just beaten Houston, they could have just beaten Houston. If they could have gone into the ACC at 11-2, a win on a neutral site against a team that was ranked number 3, this win over Tennessee, fine, you lose to Kansas, which is ranked now, and you lose to Iowa State, you ran out of gas, and they're a top 10 team now. But 10-3 is still, with a win over Tennessee, looks a lot better than 9-4 with nothing, so to speak.
Yep.
But 11-2 with those two. It
would have been so nice.
But again, like and someone was asking me about this earlier on Inside the Loud House. Donnie Freeman's not in any of these games, so like,
but it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, that's one
care.
talking point. It doesn't necessarily. Do they need? I mean, I still think
they need him, but it doesn't matter that he's not there in terms of the committee.
No. I'm not saying in terms of the committee. I just think in terms of their mental, not psyche, like look, our leading scorer for the 4 short games has been out, and we took Houston overtime on a neutral site, and we beat Tennessee. Like, so that so that's like good vibes. I don't know. No, okay,
it's good vibes. No, I'm not gonna.
I'm not saying they. Vibes,
but
if any player on the team or any fan is proclaimed, oh, they're a lock for the tournament, that's BS. No. They can't shoot free throws. Their offensive and half court is stagnant. I think their defense is pretty solid. They turn the ball over a lot. I don't know who the go-to guy is, especially with Donnie out, because JJ was good, but like William Kyle has been playing really well.
You ready for this take?
Yes. Yes. The non-true center, Jackson.
Oh, that I was 100% right on, by the way, that they don't need a true center. It's okay.
No disrespect to Eddie Lampkin, but I like William Kyle better.
I do. But you ready for this one?
Yeah.
William Kyle is by far and away their best addition in the transfer portal this year. It's not even close.
I'll tell you,
not even close.
Other than 1 or 2 games, has been a disappointment. Nick King's obviously played great in that first half. Betsy's had a few solid games, but he's a streaky shooter.
Who's been the most consistent? It's been William Kyle. He's like the one guy every game who were like, he played great defense, he rebounded, he got us a few alley-oops, he brought energy. He can't make free throws. We have to put in that point. He can't make free, except he did. He made it
1 or 2. He made 1 or 2
when it mattered.
Yeah, to make it 61-60. Yeah.
Yeah, William Kyle has been their best transfer. And I didn't think I'd be saying that, but it's true. I can't lie about what my eyes are telling me right now. He is definitely the best addition. I hope Nate George gets better. I don't know if this offense is really good for him in the half court. Nate King's had a great half, and he definitely carried Syracuse in the first portion of that game.
Totally.
I'm thankful for him, but he needs to be more consistent and be better.
Yeah, I agree.
Betsy is a shooter, so he's naturally going to be a streaky player off the bench anyway.
Kind of like a Chris Bell.
And that was like their big, those were all their big portal additions that we thought could really make significant contributions. Soiree off the bench. Zephyr didn't play. He's got a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
William Kyle's been their best addition so far. That's not necessarily a bad thing because he's been awesome. He might be all conference this year. I didn't realize how good he was.
He's good.
He's so good. Neil, anything else you'd like to add?
Calvin Russell, do what's best for you, brother, but sign with Syracuse. So the whole Syracuse fan base doesn't literally on Friday, the whole world will not literally, but figuratively explode in terms of Syracuse fandom. Oh my God.
I'm glad that on Friday I'm moving. And
I know you told me offline, man. Yeah.
So I don't think I'm going to be able to record on Friday, which might be a good thing.
Yeah.
Having to bite my lips.
I'll be working until I pick up my son from school. It's my weekend with him, but it'll be interesting, man. Oh God.
And then I have another event on Saturday morning. So I'm going to get, if Calvin Russell, whether he flips or not, I'm going to have time to process it. It might be the best thing for my
little Zen moment and be like, he's coming. Oh wait, he's not coming. Okay.
I'm going to sit in my empty home and just think, what does this mean? What does this mean? Calvin Russell is not coming.
The biggest thing, and then I know we got to wrap up, is I still don't know if he's flipping. Where the heck is he flipping to? Because you just hear all these different things.
Is he going to SUNY Binghamton? I don't know.
Dude, he's going to Siena. And he's going to play for GMAC. He's a good basketball player. He's supposed to play for Syracuse basketball. He's going to go play at Siena. Yeah.
That would be a
God. You're going to get awful comments on this show. People are going to be like, do not have Neil on anymore. He's a moron.
People call me a moron every day. So
you're a good guy.
Moron no matter what. Neil, where can people find you on social media?
Thanks, man. So I'm at Damn Twin, and then Inside the Loud House is at Loud House FS. I appreciate you, brother.
Awesome. Well, coming up here on Locked On Syracuse, we're going to continue to monitor this Calvin Russell news. Syracuse basketball isn't playing until next Thursday, so there won't be too many Syracuse basketball topics. I also want to talk about Syracuse football and the transfer portal and what they're going to do at quarterback, which was originally supposed to be today, but Calvin Russell had other ideas, so he kind of threw a whole wrench into the content for Locked On Syracuse. But that's all the stuff that could be coming up on this show in the near future. Folks, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. If you like this podcast, be sure to hit that like button. If you really enjoy the podcast, be sure to subscribe. Tell all your friends. We'll see you all again soon.